Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to go over every curse tool in Jujutsu Infinite. So this game just came out and you guys might be wondering what different weapons are there. So today I'm going to showcase every single one of them. So without further ado, let's get into the video and make sure to subscribe. Alright, first up we have Rusty Katana, and this is what the M1s look like. As you can see, they only do 92 damage per hit, as this is the weakest weapon in the game right now. That's the C move. Now we have the X move, Blade Spin. So overall, this doesn't do that much damage, and it could be a lot better. But let's take a quick look at the model real quick. As you can see, it looks pretty cool, but it's not the best. Next up, we have the Purifying Dagger. Alright, so to start off with the Purifying Dagger, let's do the M1s first. As you can see, this is 96.6 damage per tick at max level. And it will do more damage with Heavenly Restriction activated, but it's not that good. Alright, next up we have the Z move, Dagger Throw. So it has one tick of 351 damage, and that. Alright, next up we actually have Iron Blade. So this pretty much has the same model as Dagger, but longer, as you can see here. But let's go check out the M1s. So as you can see, it does the same amount of damage as the Purifying Dagger, and that is the Z move, which also does the same amount of damage as the Dagger move. And these are the M1s once again. And after you do a combo, it does have a knockback. Alright, next up we have the curse tool, Slaughter Demon. So as you can see, here are the M1s right here, and it has the same M1 damage as the basic ones, but it has one extra move, which is pretty helpful. So the first move I'm going to demonstrate is a Z move, and this basically slides across and deals damage to the NPCs. And then finally we have the X move, Demon Chop, and it has a 1 tick damage of 260. And somehow this is actually worse than the Purifying Dagger and the Iron Dagger, even though you need to be a higher level to use it. But I'll just showcase the slide move again. And as you can see, you can just slide, so it's pretty good for mobility too if you want to use it that way. Alright, next up we actually have the Viscera Scythe. So as you can see, this is what the scythe looks like, and it's actually pretty cool. And I'm actually going to show you the M1s next. They actually did a pretty good job. Alright, so first up with the M1s, let's just click real quick. And it does 96.6 damage each, so it's actually pretty cool. And next up, I'm going to show you guys the moves. First up, we have the Z move. And after you use the Z move, you actually have to hold it. And as you can see, the more you hold it, the more ticks it does. So it actually does like a decent amount of damage, because we saw like a couple of them. We have the X move. It basically drags your opponent or pushes your opponent and then drags them back from anywhere. So you can actually use it from anywhere, and it's actually pretty cool. And next up, we actually have the C move, Miming Swing. And as you can see, that does 3 ticks of 263, which is actually 600 damage, which is actually a lot for a weapon. And yeah, that's pretty much everything for the Visceral Scythe. And that's the Z move once again. Alright, on to the next weapon. Alright, so next up we actually have the Electric Staff. So this is what the model looks like, and these are what the M1s do. And as you can see, it actually does like ticks of like 92. That's the Z move right there, and it leaves your opponent electrified. I'm pretty sure that just leaves the stun. And then next up we actually got the X move, so you can actually aim this and then it leaves a huge bolt across the whole map, so you can hit a lot of enemies like in order. And these are the M1s once again. But yeah, that's just about everything for the Electric Staff. Alright, next up we have Toji's weapon, Split Soul. So this is one of his 3 weapons, that's what the model looks like, and this is a whopping 105.4 damage per hit. Next up we actually have the C move, so let's just aim that real quick. And then as you can see, it does 1 tick of 289 damage. It's actually pretty good, and I'm pretty sure you can aim this anywhere. Next up we have the X move, and this is 2 ticks of 144. So overall it's a pretty weak weapon, but the M1 damage is like a little bit higher than the other ones, so that could be a plus I guess, but I definitely wouldn't recommend using this. Alright, so next up we actually have Dragon Bone, and this is one of the higher level weapons, but this is what the M1s look like. C is a lot better, as you can see, as with the 4th hit you can get a knockback. And this might be for all M1s, but this is actually pretty neat because it's a lot different. Next up we have the Z move, Ambush. So it TPs to your nearest enemy and then does 702 damage, which is a lot better compared to the other weapons we've seen so far. Next up we have the X move, Energy Dispel. And this is a huge AoE move that actually reduces damage and speed and does 600 damage. And this is a huge AoE move, and just to remind you guys, it does 105 damage per tick. It's actually pretty cool. And as you can see, that's what the Z move looks like when you aim from far away, as it's a huge range move. Alright, so next up we actually have Feathered Spear, and you can use Black Flash on these moves, but this is what the M1s look like. So it's just like a spear, so you're just like prodding, so the animations are a little different. It might be slower than the other ones actually. So we have the Z move, which is Quilted Javelin, or Quill Javelin. You can basically aim this from far away and just use it. And next up we have the next move, Piercing Plumage. So I'm pretty sure you can just aim this move anyway, and you just use it. And this basically just knocks one opponent away and deals about like 700 damage. That's the move once again. And next up I'm going to show you guys what the move looks like with the Black Flash. And just to show you guys how I can aim the javelin and actually just throw it just like that. And it will actually do a lot of damage. And then finally I'm going to show you guys the X move once again. Let's just wait for the cooldown. And in order to use Black Flash, all you need to do is just have the focus node unlocked and then just left click and then click the move that you want to use. Alright, let's just go up and then left click and then X. And then boom, with Black Flash it does 1137 damage, which is actually pretty huge. Alright, so next up we have Jet Black, and this is 105 damage per M1. And now I'll show you guys the C move. And here's the M1s once again, and you can actually knock back on the 4th hit. That's some pretty cool M1s. Next up is the Z move. And as you can see, you do a flash step towards your opponent and it does 483 damage. And that is the X move, Shadow Barrage, and basically hits them with a bunch of twigs for 24. Next up, I'm going to show you guys how much damage the move does with Black Flash on. So let me just showcase them once again as we wait. And high key, the cooldown for these moves is kind of long because we're waiting super long. So if you're like a weapon main, which you should never be, it's just kind of hard. And then next up, we have the Z move with Black Flash. With Black Flash, it does 1137. The damage might be same for weapons around the similar level. But next up, let's move on to the Blood Sword. This is by far one of the coolest models in the game, and I'm actually like a pretty big fan of it. And this is what the M1s look like. So as you can see, this is what the M1 looks like, and then on the 5th, I think we get a knockback. So this is the same amount of damage as Jet Black, so it only does 105. But next up, let's use the C move, Demon Slashes. I'm a big fan of this sword though. So this is a bunch of takes for 100 damage, it's actually pretty cool. Alright, next up we have the X move, which is Blood Pact. So this is a huge AoE move that basically spawns like a Doctor Strange looking circle and then a bunch of eyes, and it does a bunch of damage. As you see, we have a 17 hit combo from that, so it's actually pretty OP. And overall, like visually appealingly, like it's actually a pretty cool looking sword, so I definitely like recommend using it if you're not a sword main. Like, it's a cool thing to have. I don't exactly know how you get this, it might have been from an event, but once I do, I'll definitely make a video on this. Alright, moving on to the next sword. Alright, so here we have Vengeance, and in my opinion, this is the best sword in the game right now. As you can see, we have a cool looking Demon Slayer katana, or just a normal looking katana, and as you can see, it does the same amount of M1 damage, so about 105.4, but it has 3 moves. So first off, we can get started with the Z move. So with the Z move, we just aim it, and then it spawns a clone that does 175 damage, and then does 1000 per tick. I don't exactly know whether this is a sandbox effect or not, but it looks like a pretty cool sword. So next up we have Wilting Snow, and this is a bunch of ticks after spawning your clone in. Then finally we have the C move, which you just aim up and then it brings you into an air combo. So as you can see, we kind of missed that, so let's just redo it once again. Alright, so now we have the C move, and as you can see, it does a bunch of ticks for a bunch of damage, and then it hits you for like 1000 damage at the end. And that is with Black Flash, so it's actually a pretty cool technique. Alright, next up we actually have the Impossible Dream, and here we have another spear weapon. So its M1s are a little bit different, similar to like the spear, but that's just what it looks like. So besides the fact that the M1s are a bit slower than the other weapons, we have 5 hits until there's a knockback, as you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next up we have the Z move, which is La Sangre de Sancho, and it basically spears your enemy up and stuns them for a bit, and it causes bleed damage. That's the X move, Thrust. I couldn't catch how much damage that did, but it seems to be doing 1000 per tick from bleed, so that's actually pretty unique. But I probably wouldn't recommend using this weapon because I'd probably just use like Ravenous A or Vengeance instead. Next up we have TOJI's Nunchucks, Playful Strike. So, or a Playful Cloud actually. And then these are the M1s. So as you can see, it does 109.8, which is a lot higher than the other ones, and it has these pretty cool M1 animations. It's actually pretty neat. So first up we have the Z move, which is Playful Strike, and it actually hits them for 3 ticks 2 with 200 and 1 with 500. And if you rush and hit them, it actually does 1 M1 on hit too. And the next move is chain drop kick, and I seem to have missed that, so we'll just run it back again. Alright, so all you have to do is just be close to them, which is one thing I don't like about weapons. And then as you can see, it basically like chains them up, and then you do like a drop kick for 500 something damage. So it's an alright weapon. And next up we're going to show the rarest weapon in the game right now, or one of the rarest, which is actually Ravenous Axe. So this is what the model looks like, and it's a pretty cool looking model because it's like an axe. Like, reminds me of Kratos. These are what the M1s look like, and they do 109 damage per hit. And it actually doesn't take that long. The standard 5 hits for a knockback. Next up we have the Z move, which is Ravenous Flock. Summons a bunch of crows and then just like sends like a bolt like in their direction. Then next up we have the X move, which is Crow Strike. Then basically like hits them and then propels you back into the air, so it's like a good evasive move. Then we have the C move, which is Flock of Many. So in order to use this move, you actually need to press C, and then you just move in any direction you want. Alright, so next up we actually have Inverted Spear of Heaven, which is TOJI's final weapon. And as you can see, this is the Z move, Spear. Next up we have Sever, and you need to aim this. And it does a 1000 tick damage again, but it's probably going to be lower IRL. Alright, finally we have the ultimate move, once you reach with mastery 100, and this is Throat Gouge. And this is actually what TOJI used against Gojo in the anime, so as you can see it does a massive 720 damage and then the 1000 ticks. So that's actually pretty good, and you can use this with the inventory curse, and I'll explain that in a second. But next up, let's go to the tester exclusive weapons and the event exclusive weapons. Alright, so next up we have the Turbo Mask, and you can only get this throughout the Halloween event, so they might bring it back next year, but this is what the M1s look like. They're just fists, but one cool thing about this mask is it does make you faster. And I don't know whether it's a Tokyo Ghoul or not, but this is what the mask looks like. It looks pretty cool. Alright, so these are what the M1s look like, and you can achieve the knockback way faster. And this is the C move. So it basically hits them 3 times, then hits them for 130 damage, but it makes you so much faster, and you have a little trail. So we have the X move, which actually you can aim and then barrage your opponent, and then you have more speed. So as you can see, you are moving super fast when you're running, which is why it's called the Turbo Mask, because it buffs your speed by a lot. Alright, next up we have the Hon Gauntlets, and these are what the M1s look like. So this was unfortunately a tester exclusive like weapon, and you could have only got this if you're a tester and you reached like a certain grade, I believe. And this is what the X Devastation move looks like. And then we have the first move, Calamity. And I'm pretty sure you can just use Black Flash with these, but not with the moves, but this is an M1 based thing. Alright, finally we have the Heavenly Restriction required weapon, which is Inventory Curse. So in order to do that, all you have to do is just go to TOJI, and then all you have to do is just enable Heavenly Restriction. And in game this costs 1600 or 1700 Robux. So once you have that enabled, you'll actually be able to go to your bag and you'll see an Inventory Curse weapon. So in order to use the Inventory Curse, you can't use any weapon. You can only use TOJI's 3 weapons, which are Split Soul, Playful Cloud, and then Inverted Spear of Heaven. So as you can see, this is what it looks like without any weapons, and it's like a weird cursed worm thing that TOJI uses. And once you do that, just press Y, and then it spawns in a weapon, and as you can see, that's what it looks like. And every like 10 seconds or 14 seconds, you can swap the different weapons that we already showcased before. So as you can see, we have Playful Cloud, so then we just have the same moveset. There's nothing different, except that you just have Heavenly Restriction now, so you're only allowed to use this. Then once you want to switch it, press Y, and now we have Split Soul now. So as you can see, we have the exact same moves. There's nothing different, but you just swap between these 3 weapons. It would be pretty cool in the future if they could add a feature where we could actually see a swap where we could swap between any weapons in the game, because then that'd be pretty OP for weapon users. And once you want to switch again, just press Y, and then it will probably switch to Inverted Spear of Heaven. And then you can use the exact same moves, but you can only use those 3. But yeah, that's just about everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, make sure to like and comment, and also make sure to comment what videos I should do next. Thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.